All right, so we got Thien here. He got top 8 in the DigiFest for Arlington, Texas here, using X Antibody. So how did your whole event go yesterday and then today?
It was pretty decent. I think I got lucky in a few matches, but yeah, the deck worked really well against some matchups. And but unfortunately, I lost to a lot. The blue players just like completely countered my deck. So in the top 16, I had to face like 2 blue. I won once and then lost to the second one. Actually, the guy who actually beat me was the only one who beat me the entire tournament. So my one loss in the switch rounds was from him too. So he was playing blue. Yeah.
Blue, okay. So blue was like your only loss then.
Yeah, blue is only
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And the same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah,
geez.
same guy, same deck.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what you got running here then.
So X Antibody, the way I think you're supposed to build it, it's kind of like Chessmon deck, right? It's like a black Chessmon, but it's a lot more consistent because like you have a lot of ways to build up your stacks. Chessmon, you have to have like Greymon and Savior Hook if you want OTK, and you need to have a tie out. But in this list, you can go up like multiple different ways. Just like you have different low 5s and you have different low 4s and low 3. There are some optimal ones that you want to go into if you have the hand, but most of the time you won't have it. But like you can just search for good pieces. So I play 4 coders and I play 4 Blackman boosts just to have the crazy consistency. And also against some matchup, what you want to do is drop the coder and then drop the memory boost and have a level 4 in racing. So that way you come out, you can Digimon to Dorugoramon and put this guy underneath, gain 1 memory. So now you have 6 memory basically for the turn, and then you go straight into your Dorugoramon, and then he can swing with this guy's effect, immune to deletion by effect, and you can reduce his DP. So it's a very safe style when you go against like yellow. So I would say yellow is actually a very good matchup for this deck. So if you want to farm yellow, this would be the deck to do it. And the other thing is that it's like when you side in this card particularly, it has been the MVP against yellow and purple in general, because like what you do against yellow and purple is if you have the piece in hand, then you want to keep it in racing. But if you don't have it, or you have like different pieces but you can build like 2 stacks, you want to build 2 stacks, because like you bring out the first one, if they're trying to delete it, they have to spend a lot of resources to delete the first stack, and then you can just use that resource to go into your second stack, right? Or what you do is bring out the first one, you kind of build it up, and then when you want to attack, you bring out the second stack, right? And then you have 2 stacks. What you do is put 1 or 2 of these cards on the first stack. So let's say if they have like Rebellion, for example, which stop like Chessmon, but with this card, if they choose to delete your first stack, you get a bunch of memory, and then you just go into your second stack and do the same thing again. But most likely you're gonna be immune from effect from Dorugoramon, because like you just build it up, right, So against yellow, it's the same thing. Sometimes you die from Wyvern Breath because like your stack has been out for a while, so it no longer has the immunity. But then you put this on top of your first stack, and even if it dies to like Wyvern Breath or like high DP check because of Zephyr, for example, and Zoe, you're still gonna build a second stack and like strip the rest of the sources. Now, if they don't kill you with Rebellion, right, then you check 3 times and you still have a level 6. So it's not a waste, even though they don't use their Rebellion, right? So it's always a win-win condition if you put yourself in that position. That's why for me, this has been the winning card against purple so far. And I have not faced 1 yellow. It's supposed to counter yellow, but I have not faced 1 yellow.
Wow.
I faced a bunch of Chessmon. I faced a bunch of. I think I faced like 3 Little Loops. And I faced. What else I faced? A bunch of blues. So the only blues I lost to was actually that guy, and his list is just straight up counter mine, because like it strips sources a lot and it stuns a lot, and it's very fast. So it just completely crushed his deck. It was very close though. The last game came down to, so I built up a stack, I swing, and then I use sword defeat, to delete the Davis, put them at 1. So if you do that, blue player don't have another Davis, they're gonna be behind because like you can keep building up your stack with your fixer out. They cannot delete your fixer. So you can build up your stack and keep choking them to 1. Because blue, they need to like be able to strip and stun at the same time. But when you put them at 1, they cannot do that unless they have like Hammer Sparks in them. And sometimes they don't. So that's the way to kind of counter it a little bit. But you need to delete the Davis. So, but the thing is that when my first check-in into the security, guess what? Davis. So I just like lost right there. Like I knew in my head, oh, that's probably game. Because that's the only strategy this deck can go against blue. That's that aggressive. But yeah, there's a lot of insecurity in blue that's just really bad for you. Like Hammer Spark, like Ice Wall, a bunch of Tamers. So yeah, it's a tough matchup. But yeah, basically the deck was built to have a win con. Because like, I see a lot of accent type body, they don't have a real win con. Like they check it a lot, right? But they can never OTK because they don't have like the card to OTK. Not unlike Chessmon where you have like Omnimon. So my strategy behind this deck is to have a win con. Now the win con is to not OTK, but very similar to OTKing. Because what you do with you're gonna, well, it depends on the matchup. Basically you want to bring this guy out. So you're gonna delete 2 small bodies with this guy, right? And then you go into Chaosmon and delete the big guy, right? While using the punch. So what that does, you're gonna delete the entire board and then check all 5 checks. And next turn, this guy is gonna have reboot from this and be like 17k blocker. So now they have to win on their turn, or you're gonna win on your turn. Because like even if you delete this guy for example, which is really hard, right? He's a level 7, 17k. So you have these 3 in the deck to finish the game with. Or maybe you have something in raising, depends on the situation. But yeah, so that's the win con of the deck. Now it's very hard, like if you put it up, not a lot that can come back from that. Like I went against the loop and I gave him like 5 memory, but he has nothing on the board. So how do you win against that? Like,
right.
Like you have to drop down something and then play over top of that. Like even if you drop down Rookie and Digimon on top, like how much memory do you need to get into your Zord? So even against the loop, I win with that win con. And they had like a lot of in the trash too. It's not like they only have 10, they have more than that. But yeah, it's a really good win con, and that's how I win a lot of my matchups. And like against Chessmon, this deck just like if the Chessmon doesn't know how to play against it, what they do is like they bring out the stack, right? They check a bunch of security. Like as long as I know they cannot OTK me, I will let them come out first. I will just keep my 7 raising, and when they come out, I just destroy their field.
Right.
Because this guy is always going to be bigger than Chessmon. And like Systemon, you delete the Systemon before they can block for Chessmon, right? So you wait until they come out, you delete the entire board. Right. Now they cannot come back with me. Right. And even if he only swing once and leave his Chessmon unsuspended, you delete him with Chaosmon. So now you don't even swing on Chessmon. You swing at security, delete the Systemon, check 3 checks, go into Chaosmon, delete Chessmon,
awesome.
Check 2 more checks, and then next turn they don't have any play. In my opinion, this deck counts as Chessmon, right? Unless like they have the guard hand, which is like everything, and then Omnimon, right? But they run Omnimon like 2 per, and and if they don't come out soon enough, you're gonna OTK them, right? Because like you're gonna swing all of their checks and you're gonna live like a 70k on the field, and he has to swing over. So it's very hard for them to win unless they have everything, right? So that's how you face like Chessmon.
Did you face any red ancients?
Not in this tourney, no. But I did face some red agents at the locals level. And what usually happens is that like, I think it's very high rolling. Red ancients, when they have the whole thing like analog youth and like the ancient package and like swing on deletion, bring it back to your turn. Now you have an egg, so you can have like 3 attacks next turn. But like even with that, like I can put like blockers on the field, and he cannot delete my blocker because they are 6 cost and 5k. Like it's very hard for a red to delete a blocker nowadays. So you just block it. So sometimes I just bring in my little 4 out, just have it on the field so they don't check too much. And usually what happens is like they're gonna get, I'm gonna be at like 1-0 check, right? But then I'm gonna win the game. Like usually that's what happens, unless they have like the guard hand and have good follow-ups on that. But yeah, I haven't faced too many reds, so I wouldn't say it's a good or easy matchup. But I feel like I've been lucky here and there. But red is just like very inconsistent in my opinion. Like sometimes I just win because they don't have their their package.
Right. I know that at this event, like with mulligans and stuff, there's a lot of Jessmon simply because they had the mulligan for the consistency.
Right.
So, but even with that, there wasn't any red at all in top 8. So, yeah.
I think I beat like 3 Jessmon that was undefeated. So that might have dropped them out of the tournament. Simply did because of that.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say that. But I did put them like 2-1, X1. So if they lose another one, then they're out. Yeah. But I think Jessmon is actually more consistent now than the red hybrid. I think, in my opinion. That's why you don't see. I don't think you see red Asian a lot in the top because they're just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like out 10 games, you're gonna like 8 games that we play, you're probably gonna lose like 2 games just because you ripped.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they can definitely catch you. Just have the guard hand and they can definitely catch you.
I mean that's the case for any deck though, really.
Well, yeah, except for blue. Blue can just like with any hand they can just come back and beat you. They're so consistent because they play they have a lot of good tamers.
Yeah.
A lot of good tamers.
Yeah.
I see some lists even run Nemon because like their tamer is just so good. You just drop Nemon down, have an extra attack, and like go over it with Tommy. Tommy is like the most broken card in the format, I think. Maybe it's biased because I'm playing this deck, but but in general, like at 3 costs, strip 3 sources and stun at the same time, and have synergy with like Korikaku and Sora and Joe.
Right. Yeah. His support package also makes him really good.
Yeah. He's already good, but like. Everything else put him over the top. It's just so much synergy with the 3-cost card. And like, whenever I try to check, right, I have like this guy at the bottom of the stack, Dorugoramon at the bottom of the stack, and Tommy comes out and just remove 2 of my checks. I was checking 5 checks, and now Tommy comes out, I'm not 3, or even like, yeah. So it's tough whenever you face blue and you see Tommy. But yeah, that's basically the deck.
Would you make any changes?
No, I won't. Because like I did play test it a lot. Like I think against like every other matchup, right? I played like 50 games and I've lost like 4 games.
Oh.
But against blue it's like 50-50. And against his blue it's like 80-20 in his favor. Because like his deck is just straight up counter one. He plays a bunch of like Sora and Joe, he plays a bunch of like starter Matt. So when I put this guy down, it's just a moot point because like play 1 Sora and Joe, you're gonna counter this card.
Right.
So I slammed this guy down because like against like the yellow matchup, it stunned them. They don't know how to play around it, right? You just slam him down on the first turn. That's why I play 4. You gotta play 4 if you want to play him. Well, if you play purple, then you can play less. But like if you play any other color, you want to see him on the first turn. So then you just slam it down. If they have tamers out, then he's just a dead card in your hand, right? So that's why I play 4 of them. But against blue and his list, it's just like I don't win side in anything except for the Zod defeat. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if I would change, I would take these out. Against yellow, like you don't have trouble against yellow anyway, so you don't really need him. It would help, but like you really don't need him.
Makes
so
sense.
I would take him out for something else, but like I don't even know what else, because like there's nothing that counts blue. There's nothing. Like the only thing I can think of is like maybe Takumi, because like they can do some early swings with the rookies maybe. That would help a little bit in the game, but like I don't know. And you draw a few things with Takumi, so you can get your combo pieces. So that might be in the side deck. But other than that, I'm very happy with the list. I didn't expect to get top 8 because I mean this is my first tourney. And then the deck is, I just play deck because I love Alphamon and I love Banjo Leomon. Banjo is right there. He's not in the list, but he's right there in spirit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're my favorite. I gotta rep the favorites. I was gonna play either purple and blue if I wanted to be really competitive. I actually have a mean purple list that like it's kind of rushy, champion rush, and like top end is actually made of Dorugoramon. Yeah, it's really fast though. I would say because like people don't realize it's easy to make him very consistent. Just play like Underworld Calling. You don't need to play Nailbone. You don't need to play level 6 cost memory or options or whatever. You don't need all that. Just need Underworld Calling. That's because like when you bring out a stack of like Promote, for example, right? That's +1 memory, draw 1, attack, trash 1, and you bring out Icemon and you gain 1 more memory. So with just that, with just like 1 Digiburst, you can have all of that, right? So he's actually really fast. Combined with like Rebellion and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking about running that, which is even more spicy than this list, I think.
But I don't know. This is pretty spicy. Like
yeah.
I would say it's like overly spicy, but it's just like played very well. Really counters what was going on today.
Yeah, I mean like if I face more like other matchups, like I feel very confident it's against like a lot of the top tier matchups, like yellow, purple, like Loop or Cherubimon. I don't know if Cherubimon is top tier, but like it has a very good matchup against those. Because people don't expect this card, mainly this card right here. People don't expect it. But against blue, you get destroyed. So I don't think you use this actually trying to win tourneys. I don't think. But yeah, if you want to be spicy, if you just really like Alphamon like I do, then yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Any shoutouts?
Shout out to my Austin, the ATX community. They have been the best community I've ever been in. I played some Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back then, a long time ago. And some Pokemon, some Hearthstone. But this is the only game I ever got really serious. And they helped me a bunch. Like, they are probably the most amazing community I've ever been in. So shout out to them. And check out my friend's channel. His channel is in the back. So I also did the deck profile on his channel. Basically the same list because I didn't change much. I really like the list except for the side deck. But then even then now I'm going to change the side deck up. So yeah, I did go a little bit in depth in that channel on how to stack. So I'm just going to give a few more pointers on the stacking because like with the punch and this guy, right, and with the Alphamon even, what you want to do when you stack is that you must have 1 extra Antibody in the stack besides your egg. Because what that does is it's going to give this guy 13k, and when you use this card, the requirement to get Security Plus, Reboot, and Blocker, you have to reach 16,000 when you play on the guy. So I know that when you swing, you can put 1 extra Antibody underneath, but you have to play this card before you swing, right? So make sure when you stack, you gotta stack 1 extra Antibody right in there whenever you stack.
Right.
And everything else, like, it doesn't matter, right? Nothing else really matter. And yeah, just play the deck. There's a bunch of ways that you can like choke your opponent with like Dorugoramon, because like he gives you 1 extra memory. There's a way to stack up, depending on the matchup. Whether you bring out your stack early or you keep it in racing to high. It entirely depends on the matchup. So you really want to learn the deck, even though it looks kind of spicy, it looks like a rogue deck, but it's actually really strong. I feel like if you play it the right way, you have to play it the right way, and you have to be right because like if you don't have a win con, you can't win in this format. It's just too fast, you know. So you gotta have a win con. You gotta know how to play the deck. You gotta know your matchups. But if you do, it's so fun. It's extremely fun. So yeah, that's my take on it. And yeah, shout out to Eagle X Gaming. Shout out to the Austin community. Appreciate you guys a lot, and I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congrats on top 8, and hope to see you top some more tournaments.
I'll try my best. Thank you.